Okay. Is it my screen visible? Anybody? Okay. Yes, it is visible. Thanks, Srinivas. Okay. Yes, let us jump into the MSDS. So this is how MSDS looks. I have taken gasoline, which is nothing but petrol MSDS. So first we'll see the structure. So as I mentioned, it there will be 16 sections. So as per OSHA, as per United Nations, and as per India, we have India 10 sections, and those 10 sections also part of this 16 sections. But for the OSHA and the UN, United Nations, they suggested for 16 sections. I'm just flipping through. First, we'll see this structure. So, section one talks about the chemical product and also company identification. I mean, name of the chemical and also chemical formula and synonyms, which means the other names of the chemical. Then, who is the manufacturer, address, and telephone number, etc. Then, composition. Okay. Then, hazard identification, which is primary routes of entry or acute effects. So when I say primary routes of entry, uh, one is ingestion, inhalation, skin and eyes, and the acute effects are dizziness, headache, nausea, distress or central nervous system, etc. Then first aid measures in case of an exposure with this chemical. What kind of first aid measures we have to take? Then firefighting measures, then accidental release in case of fire, what we have to do. So as I mentioned, the LL is 1.4% and UL is 7.6% in the atmosphere. If you take a volume of 100%, these will be the range. So we can call this range 1.4 to 7.6 is the fire range or fire point. Then accidental release, in case of accidental release, how you can do or what we have to do. Then handling and storage precautions and exposure control, nothing but personal protection, how we can protect ourselves from this chemical. Protection physical and chemical properties, what is the state of chemical, what type of smell it can give, vapor pressure, specific gravity, or is it soluble in water or not, boiling points, freezing points, or vapor density, etc. Then stability and reactivity. So where it is chemically stable, I mean, the chemical it can react with, and chemical incompatibilities. So this is incompatible with oxidizing agents. As I mentioned, so petrol it is in a flammable liquids. So it is incompatible with oxidizing agents, chlorines, and react vigorously with oxidizing materials. So wherever there is an oxidizing material, they can react very violently. Then toxicological data. So it gives the LD50. Okay, they have done this toxicological information from with the test animals. They have done on the rats, 18.75 ml per kilogram. So for 1 kilogram of a rat, 18.75 ml. If you inject, for example, 10 animals, based on this concentration, if you inject this gasoline or petrol, out of 10 animals, 50 animals chance to die. Okay, that is LD50. LD means lethal dose 50, which means 50% of population will become fatal. Ecological information. So it talks about water bodies. and disposal considerations, how you can dispose this kind of waste, etc. Transportation, regulatory information, and other informations. Okay, these are the 16 sections. Now we have seen for the petrol. Now I'll show you one more for the sulfuric acid. If you see here, they have not given the CAS number, chemical abstract service. Okay, now we'll see
So
one more. Yeah.
सर ये जो आपने इससे पहले वाले सेशन में बताया था मटेरियल सेफ्टी डेटा शीट
Hmm.
एमएसडीएस, तो
Hmm.
सर इसके अकॉर्डिंग ये 16 पॉइंट है। जैसे अपने में पहले में था केमिकल एंड यूटिलिटी, सेकंड में फिजिकल एंड केमिकल था, थर्ड में फायर एंड एक्सप्लोशन था, फोर्थ में रिएक्टिव डेटा, और फाइव में हेल्थ हैजार्ड डेटा। यहाँ तक हम लोगों ने कवर किया था। तो ये सब उस पे डिपेंड है ना सर?
हाँ, उस पे उसके उसके ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है।
ओके सर, तो इसमें जो अपना तो ठीक है, आप कंटिन्यू करिए सर।
Okay, if you see the sulfuric acid, so here we have identification. So the nomenclature will be different. If you see, so here
Sir,
in
excuse me, sir.
the gasoline, yeah.
Sir, CS Chemical Abstract Service number, sir.
Hmm.
Likewise, UN and ADR full forms, can you tell, sir?
ADR is nothing but it is basically for the dangerous goods actually. For the European Union, whenever you are sending any dangerous goods or such kind of chemicals, ADR stands for the dangerous goods representation for the transportation of chemical.
Sir, we want full form. Can you
One
know?
second, it is bit difficulty to understand. It is in European language. I try to tell you, but it is ADR is nothing but dangerous goods transportation
You
purpose. They use ADR
okay,
number.
sir.
Just a second, I'll tell you.
Okay, sir. UN having full form,
That
sir.
is nothing but Accord Dangerous Route Tire. ROUTIER.
UN number.
Accord Dangerous Router. That is ADR. UN is the United Nations representation. That is.
Okay, sir. Sir, likewise, when we store the flammable and acidic nature material, these two are incompatible materials, sir.
Correct. అంటే వాళ్ళిద్దరూ
But
శత్రువులు అని చెప్పు. They are both are enemies if they are together.
okay, sir, they are both enemies. When we store nearly in a room, the acids can catch fire, sir, as the reaction
Not
can
all
get.
the acids, the few acids. For example, chlorine. It is a flammable or it is also toxic. Not every acid is not flammable. But you should not
Uh-huh.
store flammables and acids together. అప్పుడు
Mm.
ఏమవుతుంది, యాసిడ్స్ ఫ్లేమబుల్స్ ఒకే చోట స్టోర్ చేసినప్పుడు ఈ ఫ్లేమబుల్స్ అనేవి యాక్సిడెంట్ గురైతే అంటే మండితే దీనివల్ల ఆ యాసిడ్స్ కూడా ఈ మంటలకు గురయ్యి ఇట్ విల్ జనరేట్ అనే డిఫరెంట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ హజార్డ్. వీ డోంట్ నో ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ వాట్ విల్ కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ దట్ రియాక్షన్.
Uh-huh.
It
Okay,
creates
sir.
a special hazards. That's why we should
Okay.
not store these together.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Yes, let us back to the topic. So if somebody asked, sir, we have seen identification or chemical compound, etc. The nomenclature will be different. So if you see Bharat Petroleum, they are using chemical product and company identification or identification. In the sulfuric acid, Thermo Fisher, they are using identification. When I say identification, it is basically about what exactly it is. అదేంటి name of the product, category number or CAS number, what is the other names of it, where it's been generated, are also uses advised to against food or drugs or pesticides or biological agents, and also where it is manufactured. Okay, basically it starts with an identification, and also it will have the emergency contact number also. So in case of any accident happen, as we see in transportation, external transportation. So if you are sending in sulfuric acid container, a road tanker, in case of met with an accident on the road. So what kind of precautions to be taken care? Then what are the hazards? There we have, what will have composition. Here they have given the composition, and here third section is hazards identification. Here second section is identification. So if you see OSHA, they have clearly given the sections. I'm sure that you are identifying. First section is identification of the product. Second is hazard identification, compositional informations. Then fourth is first aid measures. Fifth section is fire and safety measures. Then accidental release is sixth. And seventh is handling and storage of the material. And exposure controls, which is nothing but personal protection, physical and chemical properties, and stability and reactivity. Then 11th is toxicological information. Then 12th is ecological information, disposal considerations, transportation, regulatory information, and other informations. And if you see UN also have same 16 sections. Okay, one second, I'll just go there. Yeah, see section 1. It is also talks about the identification. Then we have section 2, hazard identifications. Then we have, I think 3 we missed. Section 3, yeah, composition and information on the ingredients. What are the different kinds of chemicals they mix together to form this chemical? Then first aid measures. Then if we have firefighting measures, then we have handling and storage. Okay, the sections may be here and there, but ultimately it will covers the complete information. Sometimes they will give the identification and the physical chemical properties in there as a second section, but ultimately they have to meet the all the 16 sections which are defined by the uh, OSHA and even UN, United Nations. And also I'll just open this thing as well. One second, please. MSIC rules. There also I'll show you. Are you able to see the MSIC rules? Manufacturing, storage, and import of hazardous chemicals rules 1989. Same screen, please confirm. MSIC rules కనిపిస్తుందా? Or are you seeing a different screen? Okay. I don't know. I have not got any confirmation. I'm proceeding. So as I mentioned in the MSIC rules 1989, so I said rule, that is my fault. It is not rule. I said the rule number 9. No, it is not a rule. It is under schedule number 9, where we have the format for MSDS. Okay, I'll show you that schedule. Schedule number 8, information about the safety report, and schedule number 9, which is talking about the safety data sheet as per the MHIC rules. It is in India. Manufacturing, storage, and import of hazardous chemicals rules 1989. So here we have chemical identity, physical and chemical data, then fire and explosion data, health hazard data, preventive measures, emergency. So under emergency, we covered fire exposure and spills. But in OSHAs and UN nations, they have covered fire and safety measures and exposure measures and also emergency handling measures. And additional information or references manufacturer supplier data, disclaimer. So this is our format. So moreover, most of the industries or most of the chemicals will carry the 16 sections MSDS. Okay, so here we have a pictorial representation as well. So when we talk about the hazard identification, it is skin corrosion, it is irritant to eyes or specific target organ toxicity or target organ respiratory systems. Okay, even if you see the think risk numbers or safety or risk categories, I am not able to recall exactly. There we can see this abbreviations with the category wise identification. I think I can show you in the next class. See, this is a symbol for corrosivity. I think this is for the uh, poisonous or inhalation kind of issues.
सर
Not inhalation, I think it is for astic mark. Astic for, yeah, somebody is talking.
हाँ सर, मैं ये बोल रहा था, अपने
Huh.
पिछले क्लास में ये केमिकल जो एंटिटी जो था, इसमें 13 पॉइंट था। तो सर ये जो आप एग्जांपल दिए हैं अपना भारत गैस का, तो ये
हम्म।
कौन से नंबर पर वो फिट कर रहा है, ये कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे सर?
एक मिनट। जो मैं बोला था ना, इसमें पूरा होने का जरूरत नहीं है। जो उनके पास इंफॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल है वो उतना ही दे सकता है। फॉर एग्जांपल, ये कैश नंबर है, कैश नंबर तो उधर है, बस इनके पास कैश नंबर नहीं है। सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड में कैश नंबर है, जो जब इंफॉर्मेशन रहेगा तभी वो दे पाएगा ना। फॉर एग्जांपल, सिनोनिम्स और अदर नेम्स ऑफ दिस केमिकल, नो information available, he is not given that information. So based on the identification or based on the availability of information, they'll keep. It is not mandatory that whatever the information or the 13 details which I have shown, it should be available in that section. Based on the availability, they will give. But they have to give the some set of information. The reader can understand. Okay, this is a product name. It is having the combination of so and so chemicals, and it is manufactured by some X company, and it is the contact number, so that in case of any emergency they can contact. Because for one chemical there will be n number of details, but everything will not be there in the MSDS. Whichever is required, they will give the information, or whichever is suitable or useful information. Are you clear now?
ओके सर।
Okay.
Sir, any specifications related to MSDS where it should be kept? Whether the place where we are handling the chemicals or it can be kept in a file in control room?
No, it is not in the definitely second option is wrong. So wherever the chemicals are handling, it should be available nearby.
Okay, sir. If we are maintaining oil in an equipment like mineral oil tank, which consists of 13,000 liters, there also
Okay.
it has to be hanged or only in the warehouse?
No, whether are you interacting with that oil?
No, no, it is a system related oil. It will be in
Is it-
circulation.
It is in circulation. No,
No need, no, sir, at the equipment.
no. At the equipment, it is not required. You can keep it in the in your file, and also if at all you want to display, you can have display over there.
Okay, not
That is
mandatory,
also
no, sir.
that is not mandatory until unless you are not handling, or until unless it is not going to create any harm. Basically, it is MSDS is just a guide actually.
Okay,
So in case of, for example, sulfuric acid, it is very corrosive in nature. If
right.
people are exposed, or somebody has uh, exposed, or somebody has swallowed or something quantity of this sulfuric acid, the
It will
doctors can able to understand, okay, what
right,
chemical exactly they have exposed to. So accordingly, they will give a treatment. It's like a kind of poisonous snake. The doctor
right.
used to ask, okay, I mean, from which snake you got a bite. So we should able to tell that. Accordingly, we can get the treatment. In other
Yes,
case, in case of for that specific oil, any fire accident happened, what is the suitable extinguishing media? This MSDS will guide you. Either I should use a water, or I should use any other absorbing agent, or I should use any foam, or I should use CO2 fire extinguisher.
Right, sir. Then, sir, people shall have knowledge on MSDS, but not if it is positioned at the chemical drum. Will there be
It
any?
is not mandatory to you should know knowledge have on all the chemicals, because
Right,
if it is
it's
one
not
or two
possible.
chemicals, definitely I say yes, they should know. Some of the companies they have n number of chemicals for
Yes, that
everybody.
is not possible.
On this thing.
That's what I'm saying, sir. If we maintain the same data in control room, then in case of any emergency, we can refer it immediately. But
Yes, yes, yes.
positioning at the location of handling, how it helps, sir?
Now, the best practice is which is available near the chemicals. Even some of the exposure information also will be there. For example, I'll tell you.
Like if it is a
Firefight.
big board, it is okay, sir. But if we keep in a folder at the chemical drums,
No, on the chemical drums, it is not required, Srinivas. You can give, for example, you have a chemical storage area.
ah,
You can stick with one safety signboard, or you can make it one, MSDS board. You can stick
ah,
there itself.
okay.
It is not mandatory to you stick on each drum. That is difficult. Even it is not
Difficult.
required also.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The intention is whenever any emergency situation arises, it should be available on handy without any delay, so that accordingly they can have. For example, sometimes what will happen if we keep in a control copy, only one set of copy in your room, somebody is taken for a revision or to see that, they would have
Yes.
replaced that document somewhere else. Then people will run here and there. That's why it is always wherever you are storing a chemical, wherever you are handling a chemical, it is better to have one set of MSDS at the location. Or you can do a spiral binding. For example, you are
Ah,
using 10 different types of oils. Do one
yes.
spiral binding, you put it in one folder or in the file or in the rack where you will store. You just name it, okay, location of MSDS. The people will refer. Or you put separators in between each MSDS so that they can easily refer.
Okay.
That way we can do. You need not to stick on each drum.
Okay,
That
sir.
is impossible to do it practically. Even I won't suggest. Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
sir.
I think we can take the reference of this sulfuric acid itself as an this thing. So as I mentioned, this is the representation for the first aid. Also, they are telling. So general advice: immediate medication attention is required. Remove and isolate the contaminated clothing and shoes. So in case of any contamination, they're asking us to remove immediately. If it is an eye contact, so rinse immediately with plenty of water, also under the eyelids for at least 15 minutes. Immediate medical attention is required. So 15 minutes continuous water, plenty of water you have to apply. Rinse in the sense we have to clean. If it is in a skin contact, wash off immediately with plenty of water, at least for 15 minutes. So because of 15 minutes, sometimes these chemicals will have sticky in nature because of viscosity. They won't leave immediately. For example, oil. So oil, if you expose with an oil, if you put under the tap, it will not leave immediately. Maybe because of plenty amount of water. Why it is 15 minutes? I am not sure. It is an advisable to have minimum 15 minutes. If it is not leaving the contamination from your body within 15 minutes, you can go for half an hour also. Then, in case of any inhalation, so remove to a fresh air. Remove to a fresh air in the sense it is not meaning that remove fresh air. We have to take him to the fresh air. If breathing is difficult, give oxygen even in the open air atmosphere. Sometimes what will happen whenever any such incident happens, everybody will surround him. So the fresh air intake will be difficult. So we have to take him to a open place. Then if it is not able to breathe there itself, then we have to give a medical support, which is oxygen support. And do not use mouth to mouth method in case of victim is injected or inhaled the substance. Give artificial respiration with the aid of a pocket mask or equipped with one way of the valve or any proper respiratory medical device. So in case a person is unconscious, if he consumed this sulfuric acid, you are not supposed to give mouth to mouth respiration. It is nothing but CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So you are not supposed to do CPR. I think we'll get an ambu bags. So ambu bag is nothing but you will have a mask. It's kind of balloon kind of equipment. You have to press it so that it will give a breathe similar to breathing. Then ingestion, it is through mouth. Again, rinse the mouth means clean mouth. Drink 1 or 2 glasses of water. So why water? To dilute the chemical. Never give anything by mouth to an unconscious person. Do not induce vomiting. So as I told you before also, whenever you're consumed any acids, so you are not supposed to do induced vomiting. Induced vomiting in the sense you are not try to vomit it. అంటే మనం కక్కడానికి ట్రై చేయకూడదు. So what will happen when you are trying to vomit it? So while going inside it will damage our tissues. Again while coming back also it will can damage our tissues twice. So you are not supposed to vomit it. Immediately you have to call for the physician. Then symptoms. So when we say symptoms and effects, so causes burns by all exposure routes. So burns is one of the common cause, and it is a corrosive material. Use of gastric leakage or emesis in the, I don't know exactly it is, possible perforation or stomach, and also esophagus should be investigated. Ignition causes several swelling. I think this we can consider. These are the effects. It will cause swelling, severe damage to the delicate tissues, and also danger of perforation. I'm not like exactly what is the meaning of perforation. So basically, swelling and also burns. The sensitive tissues will have severe damage. And with respect to firefighting measures, so basically if I ask a question on this topic, basically they ask us to write the list of sections in the MSDS. You have to write only the headings of the MSDS, all these 16 sections. You need not write any matter within this. So when I say section, what are the sections we are seeing? Firefighting is section that we have to write. And NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, so it is also giving the rating. So I'll go there. So this is also, I think they here only they have given in number format. I think petrol is giving that. Yeah, for petrol they have given the numbering. So when I say NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, so by seeing this triangles as a diamond, this you can understand. For example, red indicates the flammability, yellow indicates reactivity hazard, white indicates which is you're not supposed to use water or water reactive or other hazards, and blue indicates health hazard. And this is also range 0 to 4. When I say 0, which is it will not react. When I say 4 in the yellow box, it indicates highly reactive in nature. And even for the fire also it is 3. I think it is highly flammable. And it is one means in the blue, it is hazardous to health. Okay, that way we can represent the hazards of the chemical for easy representation. As I mentioned, blue it is 3, sulfuric acid is not flammable, or instability it is nothing but yellow, it is 2, or physical hazards. Water can be used to dilute. Sometimes some of the chemicals, what will happen with a W, it will have a cross symbol over the W, which means you are not supposed to use water in case of any emergency situations with respect to this chemical for dilution or any firefighting purposes. Okay. Then accidental release. So use appropriate PPEs, personal protective equipment as required, and wear self-contained breathing apparatus and also protective suits. Evacuate the person to the safe areas. Keep people away from the upwind and also upwind of spill or leak. Ensure adequate ventilation. Avoid contact with the skin. So when we say upwind, you are not supposed to be a downwind direction. So downwind direction, what will happen? So you will be exposed to the fumes. Then handling and storage. So when I say talk about storage, keep containers tightly closed in dry and cool, ventilated places, and corrosive areas. Incompatible materials, strong oxidizing agents, combustible materials or bases, organic materials, reducing agents, finally powdered metals or peroxides. These are all incompatible materials for sulfuric acid. Whenever you are storing sulfuric acid, you are not supposed to store these kind of materials near to the sulfuric acid. And these are the exposure guidelines like TWA, time weighted average. This is also calculated for 8 hours of duration. So 0.2 mg in a meter cube within the area, it should not be more than 0.2. And for 1 mg per meter cube, it is 1 mg per meter cube as per OSHA. NIOSH, National Institute of Occupational Health and Safety, it is IDLH situation. When I say IDLH, as I mentioned, immediate danger to life and health. So there it is, 15 mg per meter cube. Not even you can't take one breath at this situation. Then Mexico OEL, it is again TWA, 0.2 milligrams per meter cube. These are the exposure or concentrations which should not exceed more than this. Then engineering measures, it's talking about handling in the place equipped with the local exhaust ventilation system, ensure that eye wash stations and safety showers are close to the workstation locations. So wherever you are handling, we look for local exhaust ventilation, and also eye wash showers are nearby, so that in case of exposure, they can immediately go to the eye wash showers and they can wash it off. Then personal protective equipment also they are measuring. Then physical and chemical properties. So physical state will be in liquid, appearance colorless, odor also it is also odorless, and pH is 1, highly acidic in nature. These are the melting points, boiling points, etc. And some of the information which is not available. Then stability, it is reactive hazards. Yes, it will react. Stability with water reactive or hydroscopic, it will react with water. Then conditions to avoid incompatible products, excess heat, exposure to moist air or water. These are the conditions to avoid. In the sense, these are incompatible situations. And incompatible metals we have seen, decomposition, hazardous polymerization does not occur. Then toxicological information, which is again LD50, it is for oral, which means taken through mouth. LD dermal, it is not listed. LC50, it is inhalation. Again, here also they have these results for the test animals, not on the human trials, it is on the animals. So LC50, it is 0.375 mg per liter or volume of air, which is for 4 hours of exposure. And LD50, 2140 milligrams of 1 kilo animal. Then further down we have ecological information. Fresh water more than 500 mg per liter, it is not supposed to be mixed in the fresh water. Okay, disposal considerations. Again, this is about the waste disposal. So for example, whenever it is got spill, we'll do neutralization or absorbing or contaminated cloths or absorbing agents. So those can be disposed accordingly, or basically they write as per the local regulations, depends on where you are using this chemical. Then transportation information. Okay, then regulatory information. The CAS number, as I mentioned, it is in a tracking number where you can track. And TSCA, Toxic Substance Control Act, it is active. I think it is a registry, if I'm not wrong. These are the some of the registries where they have registered this specific chemical. Then other informations which are miscellaneous. Okay, this is about MSDS. Mostly, they'll ask us to write the different sections in the MSDS. You should only remember all the 16 sections. That is more than sufficient. Okay. I'm stopping here. We have a 1 minute time. So if you have any questions, we can discuss. Because most of the people are, we can see they are illiterate or they can't able to understand the language. I suggest, all of you to create uh, a visible representation or pictorial representation of MSDSS in a single sheet. All the 16 sections, how you can make it pictorial representation, so that it will be easy to understand, even who face difficulty to read English.